Angela from Good Foundations here with Darren from Black Creek Rain, who I will be interviewing. Black Creek Rain was our featured artist of the month for November, and I know what you're thinking, it's not November anymore, but you know we love them that much, so we're just gonna keep it going. So we're gonna do some interview questions, and then after that, stay till the end of the video because he will be performing a couple of songs for us.
That he will.
We're so special. So stay tuned for that. So we're going to jump into it. So question number 1 is, what is the first music memory that you have?
Well, like I was saying, the first music memory that I have is I was with a piano teacher for a few years, and they did a great job of teaching me the foundations of it. Mm-hmm. The good foundations, dare I say. And then I switched over to somebody who was more challenging, and I remember walking in, and it was Christmas time actually. And so we have a Christmas book at that music school. And so he was playing through one of the carols, but he put his own twist on it. And I was just like, what am I seeing this guy do? He played the most unreal version of what, maybe Rudolph or Jingle Bells, or whatever the case it was, but just the most unbelievable version of it that I have ever heard. Mm-hmm. And right then and there was when I was like, that's what I want to do for a living. That's it right there. How he took what was on the page and made it all his own. It was the start of when I wanted to improvise, the start of when I wanted to be a musician, all of it. So that is moment number 1 in music history for me.
That's awesome. I love that story. That's so awesome. Okay, so number 2, how did you get started? That's kind of, I guess that's what inspired you, but then how did you actually get started?
When I was like 8 or so years old, my parents were like, hey, this music school thing seems like a good idea. You should do it. We always wanted to do it, but in the Caribbean, it's either like you have food or you go to music lessons. They picked food. Hard to argue with that, frankly. And but when they were over here, they're like, well, we wanted to give our kids the opportunity to do the things that we couldn't. So go to music school. So I'm like, well, fine, I guess I'm going to music school. So then I went, they did a diagnostic, and they were like, play piano, he's going to be good at it. And that's when I started. And actually, I liked it at first. I didn't love it at first until I met the second instructor, but I know I liked it at first. So I started 20 or so years ago. Wow. Oh, no. I'm that old. Here we go.
Yeah, you would never guess. Oh man, that's awesome. I love this. I love hearing the history. I love the stories of this because I think every musician has like a different background, like how they started and what inspires them. So that's so awesome. So number 3, tell us. So Black Creek Rain, obviously, like I said, Darren is from Black Creek Rain. That he is. So tell us about the music style and who are your inspirations for your music? So
we've molded and we've been fluid and we've moved across genres, across band members, across the whole musical spectrum. We started, and some people will remember when we were a different incarnation of the band under a different name, and we were a little more pop, a little more jazz oriented back then. But then when we decided to make some changes in the band lineup, we then shifted to a more funk reggae type feel, which is what you hear now. And now we're not abandoning the reggae per se, because we still love the reggae, and I will always love the reggae. Make that known. Reggae is awesome. But the funk stuff, that groove, and two of our biggest inspirations are John Mayer and Maroon 5.
Okay.
Not like current Maroon 5, like songs about Jay Maroon 5 was like, yep, that's how we want to sound as a band. That's it right there. Like Waiting on the World, This Love, those big tracks that formed my teenage formative musical years. That's it. We're like, that's how we want to sound. We love the reggae stuff too, and we pepper that in, but we're stepping away from that to more of a funky, bluesy pop type sound, which is catchy, but also makes people dance as well.
I love it. I love it. And we do dance when you perform.
Yeah,
I've danced.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, true story. Last time I was performing with them for their open mic, everybody got up and danced for, ironically enough, This Love. And I'm just like, well, here we go, right? So.
That's awesome. Okay. Question number 4. So this year, Black Creek Rain actually won a contest to go record in LA. So tell us about that. Like, how did you enter into the contest? What was that like? What did you have to do? Did you have to, like...
This is an interesting story. So, Instagram ads work. Never, ever let it be said that they don't. Because there was an Instagram ad that was like, submit your music for a chance to go to LA. And I'm like, fine. Why not? We're not going to go to LA. We're not going to win. So why not just submit it? It was free. So I submitted, and like 6-8 weeks later or so was when I got an email that was like, yo, you guys out of like 1,600 or 2,000 or some kind of crazy amount of submissions, you guys are in the final like 20. And we're like, what? this thing that I wasn't expecting to pan out at all, we're actually in the final 20. So then a voting round began, and we made it to the top 5. And in the top 5, as we did, so a big thank you to everybody who did vote all those months ago. We haven't forgotten. And so they're like, okay, well, as the top 5, now you get the chance to go down there, perform in LA, get some recording time, and if you win, you get a $15,000 like, not record deal, but like a starter package almost. You get recording time in LA, and you get to get flown down there, and the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
Even this like top 5 entry type thing, they flew us down there. They Ubered us wherever we needed to go. They took us to an authentic like Los Angeles studio. I got to use a replica of the same guitar Jimi Hendrix would use, a 1960 custom American Strat. It was phenomenal. You could not have bought that experience for me. So and here I am in Toronto. Not that that's a bad thing, but would I like to be in LA again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
So moral of the story. Sometimes you should believe Instagram ads.
Moral of the story, apply to the Instagram ads. 100%. Do it like, now every ad that I see, I'm like, yep, apply. I'll never hear back from them again, but I'm like, yes, apply. Yeah. Do you think you've got what it takes to win Bulgaria's Got Talent? Yes. Yes. Don't care.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so moving on. Question number 5. What is your favorite song of your own? Your own, so not your song, and why?
My bass player is going to hate this answer, but he knows it's coming. I love, from a musical standpoint, from a technical standpoint, the stuff we're writing now, even the stuff we haven't just recorded, is the best stuff we've got by far. Head and shoulders, it's better than anything as a previous incarnation or anything else. But my personal favorite from an emotional and a foundational, groundbreaking standpoint is Never Me. It's the only song we've ever done a music video for. It's the only song we've ever properly, truly promoted. It's the only song that I got to produce. I got to from the ground up see where it began. And it's about an incredible moment in my life. It's about a moment where somebody I was seeing decided that they wanted to be with somebody else instead of me. And it manifests itself in different ways for different people. My story ended up being that the girl ended up getting thrown into a car by her ex-boyfriend and then decided, no, this is fine. You could make the argument that she kind of developed Stockholm Syndrome. I wanted to call the second album Stockholm Syndrome, but nobody would let me. And I said, fine. But they're like, that would be distasteful. I'm like, would it? See, naming an album about a kidnapping or actually getting kidnapped. See, not so offensive anymore, is it? Right? So but because of that absurd experience, I needed to channel all that energy and all that feelings and everything about that into something. And so I picked music. I had hit writer's block at the time. I didn't know what was happening anymore. I'm like, the most unreal, impossible thing that they write movies about literally happened to me. What am I supposed to do now? And so I sat at the piano one day and I started writing something. And then I wrote more and more and more. And then it all just came out. And 60 songs or so later, here I am. Yeah. Right? And so that is my favorite song, Never Me. It was the single track off the second album when we were Heaven's Muse. And that will always be my favorite track. I love to annoy my bass player with it all the time. I always tell him we're going to do a part 2 to that. And he always just looks at me and he's just like, but he thinks it's a joke. One day we'll do it.
He's serious. Okay, so number 6. That's a good answer. I love that. I love how you went into detail. Sorry. So number 6, plans. Well, actually, what day is it right now? December
10th.
It is the 10th. Okay, so we're almost in 2020.
Yeah, seriously.
So with that being said, what are your plans and goals as a musician going into 2020? What do you have in store?
We are currently negotiating something with a management team that's taken interest in us, and that'll be really, really cool if we move forward with that, because it will be nice to have a team in place that kind of handles our social media, handles our bookings, all that sort of thing, so we can just focus on the writing. And now that it's the holiday season, I'm going to burp and I don't know when it's coming. Jesus Christ. So if you hear it, my bad. Now that I'm on kind of off-peak season with the city of Toronto, I have a lot more time at home to write, to play, to record, to do the whole 9 yards, to come out and hang out with my friends and be interviewed. And this is how I want to spend my time. I want to spend my time going to open mics. I want to spend my time writing. I want to spend my time singing. That is infinitely more productive than, as much as I love doing it, sitting in the office, right?
Mhm.
Yes, do I get to more or less do what I want in the office? Sure. But is it that authentic creative time? Sometimes it isn't. And that's what I want to do. And so my goal is to free up that time so I can do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
As I was saying earlier, everything we're writing now is better than the song before.
Yeah.
Everything sounds a little funkier, a little groovier, a little catchier. And we're like, that's it. For 2020, what we want is we'd like to sporadically release singles every 2 months because that seems to be what everybody else is doing.
Okay.
The era of the album, I think, is come and gone unless you're a signed, established artist.
Mm-hmm.
These days, it's not like when you could wait 2-3 years for an album from your favorite artist and then spend 2 to 3 years with that album.
Mm-hmm.
Things are moving too quickly these days. There's too many artists. There's too many songs. You've got to have steady, consistent momentum every 2 to 3 months, and that's what we're doing. Tip for up and coming musicians, and not even like we're established at all.
Yeah.
But if it's one thing we've learned through interacting with all sorts of people, not in the Toronto community, but in Richmond Hill community, the Mississauga community, have sporadic and consistent releases. It keeps your numbers up on social media. It keeps like new, fresh material. It keeps people going to your profile. It gets your numbers up. Get your exposure up. It's something new that you can promote every couple months, so you never get bored or tired. We've fallen behind on that. We haven't released something new since February of this year, but that's changing this Friday, and much more information to come.
That's one of my next questions. Actually, so that's the next question, number 7.
Oh.
So the next question is, you have a new single coming out.
That we do.
So when is it coming out, and where can we all find it?
Well, this is actually a re-recorded version of the very, very first song I ever wrote, all the way back 6-7 years ago. Women seem to just be my muse, and almost every song that has a deep connection to me is about a woman, and I am A-okay with that. Never ever let anybody tell you that's not okay. So I wrote this song about the fact that I am of Caribbean descent. My parents were born and raised in the Caribbean. Grandparents, great-grandparents were about 125 or so years removed from India, despite looking totally Indian. So the entire time I go anywhere, everybody, the conversation goes to where you're from, 9 times out of 10 they'll say, so what part of India are you from? And I'll say the Caribbean part. And they'll just look at me like, oh, okay. So I was seeing an East Indian girl at the time, and I'm Caribbean, and she was alerting to the fact that this is not going to work out. My folks are not going to like your people. And I'm just like, but we look the same, and okay. And so from that, I was so awestruck by that experience, I had to write about it. And I did. And the first recording of this song, it came out the way I wanted at the time. But things have changed. 5-6 years, my tastes have changed, my skills have changed, my voice has changed. Not that I've hit puberty, by the way. I just my voice has just changed, and I've been singing more often.
How old did you say you were again? 17?
Going on 18 actually. Jesus. So this new recording of the song it's a much more laid back, stripped down version. There's only about 5 or so instruments in it, but it's so perfect, and it captures that island, tropical, old school reggae feel perfectly. We were lucky enough that the guy who we mix and master with is one of the guys we met when we were in Los Angeles, and he runs everything analog. They're on like a 70s Neve console, like authentic Hammonds, the whole 9 yards. So he mixed it, so he says, on the exact same console that Bob Marley himself mixed some of his most legendary albums. And I mean, from the effects he uses on the voice, to the microphones, to the actual inputs, and to the whole 9 yards, he's much more technical than me, and he explained it in a way I'm not sure, but I'm going to take his word for it. So when you guys hear it, I can't wait for you guys to hear it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
This Friday, it drops on everything, on Spotify, on Apple Music, on the whole 9 yards. If you follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Black Creek Rain, by the way, you will. We're going to promote a lot of this, so if you follow us, you won't miss it, right? So you can find us everywhere, literally Black Creek Rain, REIGN, not the rain that comes down, the rain that we will have once we're kings. Really that simple, right? So.
Where's the crown? Do we have a crown? We have to buy him a crown. Next time he comes over, he'll have a crown. So the next question was actually the best advice for a new musician, which you did touch on releasing the 2 singles, but let's scale it back even more and go, okay, like if you're new, you've never recorded anything, you don't have anything recorded, you're not at that level yet, what would you say is the best advice for someone kind of just starting out?
There is a couple of things actually I'd like to say about that. I'd like to be honest with people. there is enough room in this industry for everybody. There are hundreds of genres and hundreds of niches and thousands of audience members for a reason. You can make it, but you've got to try. You cannot be one of those musicians that sit around, drop something once every 4 years, and scratch your head and wonder, well, why isn't this going anywhere? You've got to be going out to your local open mics. You've got to be interacting with local booking agents. You've got to be getting yourself on stage as much as possible. You can have all the followers you want in the world. If you're getting 2 likes or 2 comments on your Facebook post, it doesn't matter. People are going to see right through it. Right? I know personally musicians, and I'm going to call them out. People that have thousands and thousands of likes or thousands of followers and whatever the case is, and they post something and the interaction is so small, it doesn't matter. Why? Why boost or buy fake followers or fake streams? Or it's an absolute waste of time. You want the real streams, earn them. Push the music out. Let your friends share it. Go out to open mics. Talk to people. You get nowhere if you stay at home.
Yeah.
Right? You want it, go get it.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. Just like anything else. I'm from Toronto. I'm literally in Mississauga right now, and I'm going to head off to an open mic.
We're going to head off to an open mic to
perform
after.
Right?
Yes.
This is what it's about. You get to now. I know some people in the Mississauga scene. Right?
I met him at an open mic.
This is how we're here.
I met Nate Graham at an open mic. Actually, the same. They were performing together.
Yeah.
Look at that. We've had this conversation. Half the people we know in the music industry and musician, we all met at open mics.
That's what.
Like it's all. It's not all business. It's let's have fun.
No, it's let's have fun.
Meet people, and then we all end up like actually collaborating and doing stuff together. So I love that. And the next thing was, where can we find you? Which he already said.
Yes.
He already answered all my questions before I could ask. Whatever.
Weird. Almost like I'm good at this or something.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it. What we are going to head out, but before we head out to the open mic, which we're going to Matt Zaddy's open mic, by the way, yes to Zaddy, Darren is going to perform a couple songs for us. So stay tuned because it's coming up right after this.
Here's one of the newer ones that we've got. It's not recorded yet, but this one's called Nervous. Are you nervous? Nervous too? Well, I don't know what to say to you. It's a vision, I saw it wrong. Premonition, but it didn't last long. I'm shaking, don't be shy. Look around, girl, only you and I. Looking at me, looking away. Is it my imagination and play? I think it's time to go. I think you ought to know. I can't stop thinking about what it could be. To feel you put your lips on mine. I won't stop thinking about what it should be. Oh, to feel your heart beat next to mine. You play with fire, you get burned. It's a lesson that I never seem to learn. You give me shivers, I'm on a rush. I want you bad, girl, this is too much. I think it's time to go. I think you ought to know. I can't stop thinking about what it could be. To feel you put your lips on mine. I won't stop thinking about what it should be, Lord. To feel your heartbeat next to mine, yeah. Can't you see we're meant to be? You're living rent-free in my damn mind. You're in my damn mind, ooh, yeah. Let me try to be that guy that everybody knows is yours. 'Cause you are mine. Yeah, you are mine. Ooh. I can't stop thinking about what it should be. Oh, to feel your heartbeat next to mine. And I won't stop thinking about what it could be. Yeah. Just put your lips on top of mine. Woo, woo, woo. I know you love that jazz tune around the bridge. I know that. This is a dedication to Oasis, the 25th anniversary of their Definitely Maybe album, their very first album. This is the very first single on it. I heard Noel Gallagher do an acoustic version of Supersonic. So here's my tribute to 25 years of Oasis. You need to be yourself. You can't be no one else. Well, I'm feeling supersonic. Give me gin and tonic. You can have it all, but how much do you want it? You make me laugh. Give me your autograph. Can I ride with you in your BMW? You can sail with me in my yellow submarine. Need to find out. No one's gonna tell you what I'm all about. You need to find a way for what you wanna say. Well, before tomorrow, well, my friend said he'd take you home. He sits in a corner all alone. He lives under a waterfall. Well, nobody can see him. Nobody will ever hear him call. Nobody will ever hear him call. You need to be yourself. You can't be no one else. Well, I know a girl called Elsa. She's into Alka-Seltzer. She sniffs it through a can on a supersonic train, but she makes me laugh. I got her autograph. Well, she done it with a doctor on a helicopter. She sniffed it in a tissue, selling the big issue. When she finds out, no one's gonna tell her what I'm all about. She needs to find a way for what she wants to say now. Well, before tomorrow, 'cause my friend said he'd take you home. He sits in a corner all alone. He lives under a waterfall. Nobody can see him. Nobody will ever hear him call. Nobody wants to hear him call. And my friend said he'd take you home. He sits in a corner all alone. He lives under a waterfall. Well, nobody can see him. Nobody will ever hear him call. Thanks, Oasis. She don't even know your name. Far too many folk to blame. The shame. Thought there's better things to do than soil her name talking to you. In her eyes, you're in the way. A future plan she has one day, she'll say. 1,000 years of culture bred. You better get her out your head. What's that you say? Well, that's just how it goes. The kind of mindsets all they've ever known. Whoa, I know, well, I know. It doesn't matter anymore. She don't know how to love the boss, not yours. There's one thing you need to learn. In you verse them here, my dear, as juvenile as it may seem. These things are all she'll ever dream. What's that, she said? Well, that's just how it goes. The kind of minds is all they've ever known. Whoa, I know, well I know it doesn't matter anymore. She don't know how to love the false night. That was close. I was like, oh no, there it is.
Whenever you want, you can start.
She raises her on her own, left for a woman dressed in black. And every night she prays in my eyes, Lord knows he's never coming back.